Hi, welcome back. This is HRU Speaks, and this is going to be another dream interpretation. So, today we have three dreams, and we're just going to go ahead and get into the first one. If you're new here, thanks for stopping in, and if you're old, thanks for returning. Okay, so the first dream is entitled Mad Scientist. All right, someone could be watching and studying how a person works, behave, think, and or maneuver. They could be intrigued and or this is them trying to figure out how a person is doing something. They could be following a person's every move and observing their day to day. On the flip side, this is someone watching, following, and observing a person to steal and or bite off their works and or creations. They want the Krabby Patty formula. They could be taking a lift from different things this person is doing or creating and putting it together like it's their own, or this is what they're planning to do. A lab, secretly blocking, flagging, reporting, downplaying, dismissing, shadow banning, or shadow tagging, and or discrediting a person's work. A cubicle, being in the same field or line of work. A work situation, the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 10th, the 14th, the 16th, the 17th, the 28th, the 30th, with heavy emphasis on the 14th. When I call out these dates could be time, these could be birthdays, this could be dates of significance. It could be a time frame. It could be a birth year. A birth year could also be an address or parts of a phone number. I could call out numbers. This could be like counting numbers. It's just numbers of significance and so on and so on. And one number could be two things. It could be a time frame, but also somebody's birthday falls in between that. Okay. A co-worker or colleague, a scientist, taking credit for a person's work and or profiting off of it, a doctor, brown or the color brown, a researcher, 1942, 86, 99, 2025, following a person's social media account or accounts, a study group, storage files, a secret project, a computer or laptop, trying to figure out if a person is a genius or off their rockers. May, July, September, November, with heavy emphasis on July, a iCloud, a neurologist, a locker or cubby hole, having or holding a platform, a storage, a social media influencer or creator, being secretly monitored and or followed. Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and or a Sagittarius could be significant with heavy emphasis on Cancer and Leo. Okay, and so if this is a job situation, this could be another co-worker, like following a person. They're trying to figure out how a person does something, and then they go back and they do it and they take the credit for this person's work. If this is like say this is like a researcher or a doctor, somebody could work in like a lab or something, like maybe they're trying to create something. This is like somebody could be really like downplaying their work. They could not be like, say if this is a person above them and they got to go through this person in order to get something approved for the next person. They could be discrediting them or telling them, oh, that's not going to work, but they secretly could be taking their work to these people and presenting it as their own. Somebody could be going through a person like storage files. They could be looking over a person's shoulders, like they could know where a person is storing stuff, whether this is like a locker, like I said, a cubby hole, some type of iCloud or whatever it is. They're going in there and they're going behind them and they're getting this information and they're taking this information as their own, all while like kind of downplaying or discrediting this person. Some people could be saying that they're crazy, like they mad because in the dream it was like it was a scientist and he was busy at work, and I really couldn't tell was he mad, was he crazy, or was he on to something. But the whole time I was storing these things in these cupboard holes, but it was a person that was behind me, and every time I would store these things, this person was behind me, like they was creeping. It was a person or something that was creeping and following me wherever I was going. So somebody could it could be a need for a person to kind of like watch their colleagues, especially the ones that like are close to them. They could be, like I said, they could be, you know, taking their work and pushing it off as their own. Or this is what they're trying to do. Now, if this is not like a job situation or like a doctor situation, I kind of feel like, if with that doctor situation, I kind of feel like somebody could be on to some type of breakthrough. Like this could be like something big. Like they could be, it could change things. Whatever it is, it could change things. And these people are planning on trying to put this stuff together like they came up with it, or they're trying to figure out how they could present it, like, you know, and take the credit for it. I heard this gonna be a big fight, but so they just note that, you know, everybody that's working with a person is not for a person. Even if they are above a person, it could be a need to like skip over them and present your own stuff. If this is like social media, dealing with like other social media influencers or creators, it could be somebody who's like they could be following a one specific person, or they could be following several people, and they could be, you know, taking a little bit from this person, taking a little bit from that person, taking a little bit from this person. I mean, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, or what they're doing. They're either following one person on all their stuff, and they're going and they're picking a little here, picking a little there, or this is them following several people, and this is what they're doing, you know, and then they putting together like it's their own. So that could be something that's going on too. All right, and so the next one we have up is it's gonna be it's making a way in father-in-law blues. Okay, so for this interpretation, a situation could arise where two people may have no choice but to separate. This could be a case of these people having to look out for themselves, and or one of these people decide that they have to get themselves stable, and or to a certain level, then they can come back and help the other. However, by the time they make it back, this person will have figured it out and made their own way. Another side to this is a person or persons feeling and or knowing this is what they need to do. They could be they could be they could get into it. Somebody could get into it, and it could, like, you know, separate. You know, I kind of, when I had the dream, it was like, you know, it was kind of like a cordial. It was kind of like a cordial thing, but it also was a storm going on. So something could happen that could make these two people separate. Whether this is them separating and being amicable about it, or this is like them getting into something, or something, you know, coming between them, and they separating. But it may have been something that they understood that they needed to do anyway, whether they stated it or not. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna come right back. Okay, so thank you. We're back. So so I'm gonna pick up where I left off. Okay, so another side to this is it's a person or persons feeling and or knowing that this is what they need to do. They could be lacking, going without, and or neglecting themselves and or their duties because they're trying to take care and or help this other person. This also concerns some type of movement or relocation, whereas one person could be moving to another place and the other could be bound to a certain area. They over there arguing about, but somebody could be bound to a certain place, and another person could be moving to another area for whatever reason. This other person may not be able to move where this person is going. Okay, the second dilemma in this dream concerned a father-in-law. The father could be pressuring a son-in-law when it comes to his daughter. If these people aren't already married, he could be wanting to know this this person's true intentions and plans. If they are married, he could be questioning their stability. He plans on how he plans on providing and or what's his next move. For some, they could have lost the job, and for others, this is them having the funds, but they can't let the father know he has his money and or how he's getting it. And for a few, if he could be getting his money in an alternative way, if you get my drift. And for a few, if the alternative way is on the up and up, it could be a question of how long is it gonna last. For others, if the father is aware of his dealings, he could be asking what's his exit strategy, could be trying to push him in a different direction. Whoever the son is could be trying to duck and dodge this father figure because he really isn't ready to have this conversation and or he doesn't want to. For a small few, they also could be trying to keep him from seeing the daughter, meeting up with the daughter, and or knowing what his that his daughter ran off. They could have left and or be missing for some reason. Side note, some could experience some bad weather that could cause some stores or buildings to close or close down early. Okay, and so things that could be significant with this is a rainstorm, having a flight, the initials E, J, R, and S, with heavy emphasis on R and S, a tornado, Sunday, lightning, puppies with a unique pattern of fur. Like in a dream, it was some puppies in a box, and I was digging in this box. And I got to these two puppies. They were so cute. I felt like Elmira in the cartoon. Like, I want them. I wanted these puppies. But the fur was like, it was so unique. It looked like, they looked like blue pits, but the fur was blue and gray, and it was like in a checkerboard pattern. So somebody having some unique puppies could be significant also. A squall, a blue and gray pit bulls, a windstorm, a gray sky, a empty parking lot, a pharmacist and or a supplier, a department store not wanting to bring a person to a certain place, a super center, keeping two people separated and or avoiding a person, puppies, a cousin, a kennel, the 3rd through the 5th with heavy emphasis on the 5th, the 9th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, a brown house, a person moving or leaving, March, May, October, using a back door, a job situation, sitting in the kitchen area, a porch with steps, some grass needing to be cut, taking a back way, pathway, or a back road, a trap house, jumping a fence, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Libra, and or a Scorpio could be significant when it comes to this situation. Okay, so I mean, that basically was self-explanatory. Two people could be separating or leaving because they feel like they could do better, you know, by themselves, or they need to get themselves together first before they could, you know, be able to come back together and do it together. One of these people could actually come back for the other, but by the time they come back, it's like, you know, they could have been figured out their own way. They can have their own stuff together. Okay, and then like I said, the next is this father-in-law pressuring his son-in-law to basically do better or choose another way, or, you know, whether he know what the son-in-law doing or he's not. And it also could be a situation where maybe the son-in-law and the daughter-in-law got into it, or, you know, it's a reason, you know, he's trying to keep them apart because he don't really want to have this conversation, or this is them getting into it and the daughter-in-law walking off, leaving, or being missing. Something about, you know, this is something dealing with this daughter and this guy, and, you know, not wanting this father to know. All right, so the next up is entitled Blue Pill. Okay, so for this dream, I got more than one interpretation. First, someone could be reuniting with someone from the past, and it could get hot and heavy. It could also involve a couple of party favors of the prescription persuasion. The second scenario is a person could be spending time and hanging out with a person, and they could find some type of pills or medication and begin to look them up while their back is turned and or while they're out of the room. And if this doesn't concern medication, this could be them rambling through a person's personal belongings. Third, if someone deals with prescriptions, it could be a need to double check what they're giving or prescribing to another, or this person needs to double check what they're being given. On the flip side, if this involves a street pharmacist or buying medication off the market, a person should double check them and be careful, because it could be a bad batch and or fake. The fourth scenario is a person needing to be careful when it comes to a bedroom some bedroom boom and or a business transaction. If this concerns some bedroom boom, a person could give a person something to make them sick, and or this is them trying to infect them with something. And for most, they could be doing this on purpose. Their intentions could not be on the up and up, and if a person decides to go along with it, they should really protect themselves. It also could be important for them to provide their own protection. Even with the business deal, you should bring your piece. Okay. If this is a business transaction, it could not be on the up and up either. It could be a setup and or involve a bad product. If the bedroom boom is not the business transaction, someone could be in the middle of getting some when they receive this call to go handle this business. This could be a clue, and my advice is to not to go. The last scenario is a person trying to block or stop a person from doing something they was led, gifted, and or called to do. They could feel like whatever they're doing is a conflict of interest for them, exposing some things and or causing some type of conflict, period. All right, either deep down they really want to be with this person and they feel like whatever they do is in a way and or causing a blockage for this situation, or this is them coming in pretending to be into them, whether in a romantic way or a friendly way, to be able to get close enough to implement some type of plan. This could be them trying to do something to them physically and or spiritually, and for some there could be a mother or a mother figure that's helping them or involved. Things that could be significant is living with a mother, or vice versa, a mother living with someone, hanging out in or talking with someone and their mother, blue pills, a pill popper, a hotel room, an electrician, a mother being next door or the next room over, a construction worker, Viagra, a supplier, oxycodone, the medical field and or a medical environment, Percocet, a pharmacist, or legal or street, Xanax, the 3rd through the 6th, the 9th, the 12th, the 14th, the 22nd through the 24th, the 27th, with heavy emphasis on the 5th and the 9th. Getting an eerie or unsettling feeling about a person and or situation. Doxilin, taking a person alone to run a play, Valtrex, March, April, July, August, October, December, wanting a person to watch them while they eat. A bedroom with a door that leads outside, or a bedroom near an outside door. A person being passionate and or seductive. Wait, I got to pause for 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, we back. A person being passionate and or seductive, staring in each other's eyes and not breaking contact. A tall person being in a bathroom, being on the edge of the bed. I'm about to fall off. The number three prescriptions and or 3 pills. Receiving a phone call, a munch, having a change of plans, a black vehicle, a parking lot, a Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and or a Capricorn could be significant, with heavy emphasis on Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Okay, and so I'm just gonna go through a quick run to break down each possibility. Okay, so the first one, like I said, this could be somebody coming in from the past, a badass from the past, and you know, things could get to flowing, and you know, it could get to going. So that's number one. But in that, you know, in that situation, like I said, it could be, you know, somebody could, you know, like to, you know, they could like to pop some type of pills, and you know, and this is what they like to do. So that's the first scenario, okay? And so then this second scenario is a person like leaving out their medication, or somebody seeing a person's medication, or somebody turning their back and they going through their stuff, they looking up their medication, trying to see what they're taking. For some, they may be a need for a person to look up some medication to see what it is, because I also talked about it being something being bad, a bad batch, you know, I mean, I want to say some bad cat, I don't know, or vice versa. So, you know, it could be a need for a person. Somebody could get, like, you know, they could feel like they need to look this stuff up. And so if you get that nudge, you know, look it up, and vice versa. Somebody could be, you know, if you get the nudge, you know, to get your stuff, then maybe you need to get your stuff, because somebody could like look up some medication while a person is not had their back turned, or this is them like rambling through their stuff. Like, you know, let's just say you left a person by themselves for a while, or you left them in your house, or you left them in your space, and you know, you was gone for a while. Like, this person is gonna go rambling through your stuff. So the third one is somebody that like deals with prescriptions. This could be a person who this could be like somebody who work in the medical field, you know, a nurse, doctor, pharmacist, or some type. And they could deal with prescription drugs, and even, I mean, even if you know, they not in the legal field, you know, they, you know, the streets pharmacist or whatever, it still could be a need to be careful of what you're getting, what you're prescribing, or what you're giving out to another person, because, you know, like I said, it could be a bad batch. You know, if this is like a doctor or a nurse or something like that, they could, you know, prescribe the wrong thing, or give the wrong pill, or, you know, in a rush they could pop the wrong pill, or they could mix two people pills up and give them to the wrong person. So that could be of significance. So it could be a need to like double check, or you know, you could get, somebody could get like some like a controlled, like, you know, medication mixed up, or something like that could be going on. So it could be a need to like to double check your work, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. And so the next one is like I said, somebody need to be careful when it comes to some bedroom boom, because somebody could be coming in to try to, you know, they could be trying to give somebody something on purpose. Like, this could be trying, you know, or this is them like giving somebody something to get them sick, to like set them up. Let's just say, you know, they came in and it's supposed to be, you know, the bedroom boom or whatever, but, you know, it could be a setup. You know, they could be trying to set them up. They can get them something sick to get them woozy to set them up, or like I said, this is them, you know, actually trying to, you know, knowing that they have some or something like that, and then they try to infect a person with something. And if this is like, or, you know, if this is like, you know, this is transactional, you rub my back, I rub your back type of thing, and it's transactional. Somebody should, they should make sure that they protect themselves, and make sure you bring your own protection. Use your own, don't let them give you nothing. You use your own, because like I said, either this person this is set up, or something like that could be going on, and it's a need for somebody to protect themselves, whether it's, bedroom boom or pew pew pew, you get me? So those things could be significant. And like I said, if this is not like, if the bedroom boom is not transactional, or this is not somebody like trying to set a person up, this could be somebody, having a little fun with somebody, and they, they hanging out and they chilling, and in the middle of it, they could get a phone call where they have to go handle some business, and they could, think about taking this person along with them, but they shouldn't go, because whatever it is, it was like in the dream. In the dream, I got an eerie feeling about going wherever it was that they was trying to go. So, that could be a situation, like, so it could, even if this person that they're spending time with isn't, if even if they on the up and up, it could be a need to watch like whatever business transaction this is. And the last one, let's see, the last one was the last one is like somebody coming in, like I said, they coming in, they trying to block or stop a person for doing something that they gifted, they called to do, they could be meant to do, or and whatever they doing is like causing a issue for them, or they feel like whatever they do is like blocking them, whether this is like, somebody work a job where they always gone, you always on the road, you're never there, we can't spend no time, or this is like a person talking to a person, and it's a long distance, or it's distance between the two, or this is, this could be a person that does something spiritually, like every move you take, they know. Every step you make, they own it. So it is like, it's hard to kind of maneuver around this person, and it's like, if only, I could kind of block it, or, what I'm saying, slow you down a little bit, then maybe we could work, if this is the case where they actually want to be with a person. And then for others, like I said, on the flip side, this could be somebody, feeling like a person is, in their way, in another way, and they don't really want them, but, they coming in to try to figure out a way in to try to get themselves in and close enough to be able to do whatever they trying to do. And like I said, in either or of these situations, whether this is somebody really wanting a person or not, or whatever it is, it could be like a mother involved. All right, and so with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close it out, because it has gotten a little long. And be sure to go to TikTok and Clapper, because it's something different over there. Like, comment, interact, comment. It don't matter what you say, just say where you're from or whatever. And make sure you go to TikTok and Clapper, because it's definitely something different over there. And as usual, come on back, because the next entry, it could be for you.